It is another episode of Zooming with Zach. Super excited to be here on the day before Thanksgiving. I hope everyone has some plans to hang with family, chill, even if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving. Hopefully, you're able to just be around good people because that's always the vibe. It's always the vibe. And I'm around good people today. So I'm super excited to introduce my LinkedIn community to my guests. But before we do that, I got to do the intro. Welcome to Zooming with Zach. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Zoom In with Zach. This is the last episode of November. I got a few guests coming up in December and then got a whole lot of new stuff coming for 2022. So really excited to share all that with you. But again, if you are tuning in, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever, please like, comment, and share. That very much helps and get more people to watch, and I'd appreciate it. So super excited to introduce you to my guest today. As you see this quote on the screen, you'll see why this makes so much sense. When people ask if I went to film school, I say, no, I went to films. That's a quote from Quentin Tarantino, the director. And I feel like my guest is going to be on Quentin's level, if not surpassing that at some point in his career. And the dude ain't but what, 25, 26? I mean, it's amazing to see. But I'm super pumped to introduce you to my friend, the one and only James Heiden. What's up, brother?
Before we get started, I'm 102% certain that I used that footage in your opening at some point for like some client of mine as stock footage. It's that was funny to see.
Yeah, that background.
I'm like, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, I've definitely used that. Oh, I'm good, man. It's going to be good to get a couple of days off here.
Indeed. So this man, he's a grinder. So I know what he means when he says get a couple days off, because he works just as hard as me. He's going every day, up early in the morning doing stuff. And the crazy thing, tell you how me and James met, is this wasn't where he started. I kind of put that in my caption before. As many of you know, I've been with Miami Philly for years, and I kind of got bit by the production bug and took over our sports content. And helped launch our show Trust the Process live. And we needed hands, so I would get interns. And me being a Temple made STHM strong, I go to SHM to get my interns. Now, granted, I found out later it's probably better to go to the communication school to get people that want to work on this kind of stuff. But I'm like, I need people that know sports, want to talk sports. And I had a few interns before Jim. One of them, Max. Shout out to Max Coolers, who stuck around for a long time. But I tell you, I almost didn't need another one after Jim, because when this dude came in here, bro, he learned everything, and then became like good at everything. And I'm just sitting here like, this dude seems to be really about this life. And of course, fast forward to now, this dude's a full-time videographer. James, tell people a little bit about you, a little bit about your journey, so they can get a full feeling of the Reverend of Bannerman, which I'll tell the Banner story in a minute too.
So it's kind of funny, and I'll tell why I came to Trust the Process, and then everything else follow that. So it's funny. You'll remember that I wasn't actually, when you came in to shout out Dr. Blair in Capstone.
Yep.
That wonderful lady is 75% of the reason I graduated. Now we'll split it 50-50 with her and Jarvis Bailey, but
yeah.
So the first time you came in to do like the actual presentations for Capstone, I put Trust the Process as number one, but I didn't get it. So like during the actual semester, so my capstone was I spent hours just droning over blueprints, trying to we had to come up with 3 different models for either a retrofit or a new build for the Carousel House over in Fairmount Park. Mm-hmm. That was my actual capstone. So down the line a little bit, the last internship before graduating, the one I brought to them got declined to SDHM. So I'm racking my brain, like how, oh man, like I'm not going to graduate. Like, oh, this is wild. So in the back of my head, I'm like, you know what? He went to SDHM, and that's why he came. Like, let me reach out to Zach. Let me see if this could happen. Like, even if they don't approve it, it's going to be at least some experience. I'll get another internship under my belt, or like my third at the time. And luckily enough, they ended up accepting it. So I'm here. I'm ecstatic. I'm in my head, in the back of my head. I'm like, I'm graduating. I'm cool. I'm good. Like at that, I'm over the moon at that point. And that kind of brings me to everything else, which is funny because I think a lot of people can kind of identify with this. I'll always be a proponent of we are forced to pick what we want to do with the rest of our lives way, way, way too early. And that kind of I won't say negatively affected me because I'm like happier than I could have ever been at the age of 26 than I could have ever expected. But I looked into that. I'm not going to lie. I lucked into that simply because of the connections I made and was lucky enough to make. I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life at all. I just knew I loved sports and I knew sports. I knew what I was talking about. I liked to know what I was talking about. And that brought me to the Trust the Process. Obviously the avenue of working on a sports show and doing everything that encompasses it. But spending more time with guys like you and Kyrie and around a production company, and it just became like a trickle-down effect of going on more shoots, learning new things, doing new types of shoots. It's that really taught me what I wanted to do. I wasn't one of those people that grew up with a dream, a plan, like this is what I want to be. This is how I'm going to be happy. Like I didn't even like go into movies and everything like that. I didn't even know I wanted to be a filmmaker.
Right.
It was introduced to me and I was just like, oh, okay. Yeah, I could see it. Yeah.
I'm glad there was that crossover between sports and film and sports and content. You know, that crossover of you coming into a sports show let you see the other side of how you make a sports show and then really find your passion through that, which is super, super exciting. And I tell folks, so to let y'all in, if y'all ever hear me call him Banner and not James, it's because when he started, we just got new pull-up banners, for our show. And I'm very protective because these were expensive and I didn't want them to break. So if you were like under 5'10", I really didn't trust you to put these banners up because like you probably was a little wonky at the top and you might drop it, which plenty of people have dropped it. And you would see my face just like steam coming off. But this dude, man, y'all can't tell he's sitting down. He's about what, 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", something
6'5".
So he was like, boop, done. I was like, that's the Banner man. He's Banners. And it's stuck almost to an annoying level where there's a lot of people who probably didn't know his name was James or Jim.
It's everybody going through there. Like you received the nickname. You didn't you had to, or like you earned it through actions and some sort. I could have had a lot worse one than that. It's funny. I had a lot of experience with those banners through the sports internships. Like when I was at LaSalle, I put up like 23 of those things every basketball game. So I was good. We're good to go.
Came in very talented and skilled on that front. And give people a quick overview before we jump into three questions. Give people a quick overview of what you do now, what your business is now, and what you got going on.
So I run my own production house, Public Square Media. Me, myself, and I. There's a little hobby section there too. That's interesting. I run full service production house. Anything you need. Could be shorts, interview style. I've been doing a lot of live production since the pandemic hit us all. But I mean, I know everything. I do everything. I won't say I know everything, but I know how to do pretty much everything in the production space. Let's see, lighting, grip, audio, obviously cameras, directing, anything in between.
So you're going from the full side of like you're an entrepreneur. They need you to help create content. They can come to you to do it, all the way to you are a creator and you need someone on your team to execute. You can come in and help someone, with their project in that format too.
Exactly.
Right?
And always looking to, I've had a lot of people so into me, yourself included, in the early years of my career. So I'm always looking to take on either interns or people who can help me expand the company as well. and just either teach or grow together and everything like that. So
Awesome. Awesome. And I got some folks I'll recommend that I can send your way that would definitely learn under you. And for folks that don't know, if you see me producing Inside the Birds, this is the guy who brought me into that project. We do that at Bet Rivers, Rivers Casino, every Sunday morning. So it's me and James sitting there behind the cameras, and he's, again, I watch him, and he's taken, the little bit of knowledge we gave him to do live content years ago, and has just expanded it to the point where, like, this dude is crushing it, and I'm proud of you about that, James, for sure.
thank you.
And I'm probably not going to ever call you Jim, even though I keep seeing it on screen. I'm like, who's Jim? I always call him James because my last name's James. Again, we got a bond.
Growing up with this name, I got James, Jim, Jimmy, Jimbo. I'll
Right?
answer to that. I answered too much.
I might get into the Jimbo thing. I don't know. But here, we're time for 3 random questions. I need you to give me a 3-digit number, can be any number, and I'm gonna give you some random questions that correspond with said numbers.
Any like parameters you said? They
Just
can't
can't
be.
use the same. Just can't use a number twice.
Okay. Easy. 365.
Is that days in a year? Is that zip code? What made you go
Days in
easy?
a year.
Okay, I like it. So let's give you question number 3. What we got here? Looking ahead, what's something major you hope to accomplish in the next 2 years?
Next 2 years, definitely have something. I'm not really a full, like, somebody who can sit down and get a script written. So I won't say something that I've written, but something that I've conceptualized and shot, have that get some placement on at least streaming services.
Gotcha. Get into that streaming world. Yeah, no, I'm trying my best to come up with ideas that can get on those sorts of platforms as well. So I'm with you in that fight, my man. So 6. Let's go to question number 6. Ooh, what skill set did you gain or improve during the quarantine? That's a good one.
I would take this one outside work. Definitely, like, going back to cooking. Before that, it was all just kind of like, let me throw some minute rice in a pot and like make some kind of like fried rice or something. But like over quarantine, definitely got back to. I mean, we're home. You know what I mean? All I have to do is walk downstairs. I have ordered out a little bit too much recently as work's been picking back up, but definitely getting back to expanding how much I can and know how to cook, which has been really nice. And I live across the street from an Acme, so it's actually pretty nice.
That's dope. In the past year and a half of the pandemic, what has been your favorite dish to cook? Or what you cook the best? It can be
probably like there's this really good hot tofu over rice with like hot poke sauce. It's really good.
Okay, that's something I'd never heard of nor know how to make. So you might have to hook me up then. Sounds good. So last question of your 3 randoms. This is an interesting one for you. If you could go back to your first days as a business professional and give your old self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Ooh, this is tough.
And I guess I would say your first day as a professional, I assume now that, let's say in the video space, you're now a content creator. What would you say to yourself?
I'm just trying to like, there's so much.
Right.
So
And you can say more than one. I put it there as one. You can.
I would say don't become where I am now with my business. I'm very Philadelphia locked. And that's not a bad thing at all. I love that. I plan to live here for many, many, many years. I would say in the early years, don't become so Philadelphia locked, because just because I live here and just because I have most of my business here doesn't mean that I couldn't be traveling. I haven't done much traveling in my life. I have done enough, but that's something I would like to do more of. And for the line of work that I'm in, if I could have at this point in my career in life been traveling while working, I mean, even when I go for vacations for leisure wise, I still have my camera with me. So it's, if I could knock two birds out with one stone at this point, be traveling a little bit more for work,
Mhm.
I think that would, I would have really liked that.
That is a blessing when you can do that, when you can, be hired and then like also they're paying for you to go to other places in the country. Yeah, I'm gonna say I want that one too. I
Mhm.
want a little more traveling. Actually, the pandemic has kept me more here.
Yep.
Like I don't have to travel to get opportunities because a lot of what I do I can do digitally. So
A
or
lot of what I
virtually.
do is right there.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right,
so it's
100%.
I know a bunch of guys who are, I know a bunch of guys who moved to Philly just for the lifestyle, but still do a bunch of work with New York ad agencies. And there, I mean, a guy I know was in the UAE 2 weeks ago. He was in Mexico City last week. Now he's out in like Nevada. Like
Mm.
that's a little, that might be a little bit too much traveling, but like that's pretty crazy.
At least one trip a month. I'll take one
Yeah,
a
yeah,
month.
exactly,
That's a good
exactly.
rate. Well, listen, folks, make sure you are checking out my man James, following him on social. Of course, check out Inside the Birds, the show that we work on together with Parks Casino. I'm about to say Parks Casino.
I know, I know.
There's so many casinos. We used to do a show at
We
Parks
used to.
Casino. Come down, check us out live at Rivers Casino. And yeah, man, again, super proud of you. Love the progress. I hope you have a great and amazing Thanksgiving. Get to spend some time with the fam. And again, everyone watching, always please like, share, comment, even after we're live. But I hope you all have a blessed and wonderful Thanksgiving. Now I'm gonna turn it over to my man James, aka Banner, aka Jimbo, aka Jim, aka the Reverend, to close the show. Peace.
Oh, he didn't give me much warning or preface as to what to say here, but I guess I'll say something to people like me. I mean, just because you don't believe in yourself to do something doesn't mean you can't do something. I find myself being, I find myself being my biggest second guesser all the time. So just keep it short and sweet. Just because you don't believe you can do something doesn't mean you can't. And at the end of the day, I hope that gives you a little bit more confidence to the next time those thoughts come up and the next time you start doubting yourself to be like, no, you know what? I've done this. I know I can do this, and just keep pushing forward. Because at the end of the day, all you need to do is just do it. Doesn't matter if anybody believes you can't, especially you. So keep doing you, and everything should work out. And if it doesn't, give me a call. We can talk about it.